Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To some and peace out to the rest of you. Black Heart Son of Black, and again asking you to hit that share button. Thank you if you hit like or subscribe, but sharing is where it's at because the message is more important than the messenger. And that being said, I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my subscribers. He brought up a refrain that we usually hear as African Americans, especially those of us that are Muslim as well. If you have been around the WD Muhammad Muslim community anywhere in any major city in the U.S. and you were a black man, you will have heard this refrain multiple times. Another woman ain't gonna understand your struggles as a black man, brother. Well, let me address that, okay? That is true because a woman coming from another background that is not even so much as black, let alone black American or black Jamaican or black British or black Canadian, but a woman from a completely different racial background probably would not understand your struggles as a black man. That's true. But let me just compare right quick the Western black woman with the Southeastern Asian woman and with the woman from the continent, okay? Let me just do that. The woman from the continent could be either way. She may come from a place that was colonized. More than likely she will, because the continent was colonized at some point. Even Ethiopia got occupied, and Liberia started as a colony before it became an independent republic. So just about every inch of African soil and any neighboring island got colonized. Now, she may understand what you've been through as a black man. She may not. I don't know. It depends on the woman and the country. So it's worth looking into. The continent's worth looking into in general. By the same token, I know an African American who married an East African, and she didn't care about the scars on our backs at all. But that was a one-off. I know others who, they have Pan-African leanings, both the husbands and the wives. They seemed to work for as far as I knew them. But now let me give the comparison between the Western Sapphire, the Wicked Witch of the West, and Southeast Asia. If you are not Muslim, you can go into Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Philippines. If you are, you can go to Southern Philippines, Southern Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. So whatever your case is, you could find someone there who theologically agrees with you. Now, in these regions, they don't understand your struggles as a black man yet, because these ain't black countries. They've had their own struggles, so they can understand that you have had struggles, but you have to tell them what they are. However, if you're willing to listen to what struggles they've had to deal with and learn the historical lessons they can teach, they'll do the same for you and listen to you. Because these are not a hostile group of people anyway. You understand? Now, that's that. That's how far that goes. Do you have some ratchets in these areas? Yeah, you do. They're actually called bag chasers. The difference is when they're referred to in Malaysia by the term bag chasers, it doesn't mean chasing a bag full of money. It means chasing a handbag, a purse that costs a lot of money so they can stunt floss on their friends. The thing is that this is not necessarily an epidemic. It's a known phenomena, but there's a pushback as well. And you traveling from elsewhere to marry one of the women that doesn't do that is seen as a reward for good behavior. So that would automatically not support, but rather oppose this kind of behavior. It would de-incentivize that whole bag chasing behavior. So that's one reason why it's worth it to look into. I've already said that the continent could go either way. Now, let's look at the Western Sapphire. Why would the Western Sapphire not understand your struggle as a black man if you were her natural counterpart? I don't know. I just know that while they may or may not understand it, they don't. Either they don't understand it or they do understand, and they don't give a rat's behind. That's what happens. They want to tell you that you don't understand their struggle as a black woman. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but you have sympathy. They're going to not understand your struggle as a black man, or they're just going to understand and they will not sympathize. And they will deny that you have any struggles as a black man. When you're a black man, you want it. Oh, so you mean that since I can get women of other races, I don't have any other struggles? That's what you're saying? And you have the worst struggle because you can't get a man of another race. Wait a minute. I thought it was about more than sex. What's wrong with you? What is it? What's the case? You see, you're going to get these mixed messages. Now, let's talk about simply first from the very beginning, you presenting yourself in these different areas. Go to that W.D. Muhammad community where that refrain is repeated the most often. You're presenting yourself to marry an African American woman, or black British woman, or black Canadian woman, or black Belizean or black Jamaican woman. You're presenting yourself to marry exactly the woman that's going to understand your struggles as a black man, brother. You present yourself exactly to them. What happens? All right, well, brother, we need to see your W-2s. Oh, yeah. And if you're from out of town, they want to know the name of your last imam so they can call and check up on you, which is by itself could be reasonable. But they will act as though you're a nuisance kind of for asking. Like you should have brought these things to the imam when you presented yourself as ready for marriage. That's how they generally would act. Now, when you will finally qualify, they're going to introduce you to elder women who either can't have no kids or who have someone else's kids. They're a package deal, brother. Are you man enough to take on the responsibility of her and her kids? You should say, nope. And that's if you have kids. Nope, I'm not. Thank you. You know somebody without them? If you got kids, you should say that. Just on general principle. Because you had to go through all this to qualify yourself for them to introduce you to anybody. You know what they'll tell you? If you don't bring all these things and qualify yourself, they'll be like, well, brother, maybe you should fast until you get ready for marriage. Really? In that case, you really ain't missed nothing. Because the women from that community, as many of you may know, are hard-headed, stubborn. They want to change the religion to suit them. And just to prove that, if you want to marry two wives because the women need husbands, they make judgments about you, against you. But if you want to, they'll make these judgments about you and against you. But to make matters worse, that's when you want to do something that's halal. It gets worse than that. When they know that one of their lady friends in the community is committing adultery, who are we to judge? See? That's what you are expected to deal with if you're going to keep it in the community. And this is even in a spiritual Muslim community, a specific one, I mean. Now, if you show up with a white woman, they ain't got nothing to say. You show up with another Muslim woman of color from another part of the world, brother, she ain't gonna understand your struggles as a black man. Why'd you do that? They got all these sisters over here. Yeah, but you know what? Y'all acted like they were, y'all acted like they didn't need any husbands. Now, go into Southeast Asia, present yourself, go into a masjid, ask to talk to the imam, explain to him, you're from out of town, but you're looking to live there and you're looking to marry there. Let them know what you got to offer briefly. You don't even have to name a salary, okay? Bring the photographs of yourself, just proof that you have some kind of work, it's steady, and some names of someone they can call to check up on your character, both good and bad, and watch them come back with families. In other words, this is her, and these are her parents, and this is what her dad does, and they'd be willing to meet you. And it's not going to only be single mothers and older women that can't have babies no more. I mean, you could find that if that's what you're looking for, but you're not limited to that, as if something is wrong with you. You see, you don't have to be Superman to qualify for just Lois Lane. That's what I'm getting at. Not over there. And then, like I said, you're going to be able to tell her about your people and their struggles if you're willing to listen to her describe to you their struggles against colonization and whatever else we don't know about their history, because we ain't them. You see the difference? Now, let's move back to one more thing. In the United States, and I think that's where you are, the one that commented on this, a lot of black women work in HR. Not every black woman does, but every black man that's applied to a lot of jobs has come across many black women that have worked in HR. If you are applying for a good paying job, your chances of being hired all of a sudden drop simply because now the job is nice. That's reason enough for them to not hire you. Now, she's supposed to understand your struggles as a black man, right? Because she is both your racial and national counterpart. Now, I didn't just say natural, I said national, meaning you an African American man, she's an African American woman. You black Jamaican, she black Jamaican. You black British, she, black British. You understand what I'm getting at, okay? All right, now, you're going to face discrimination in the job market if you're black and you're not gay. End of story. Now, if you black, you ain't gay, and you Muslim, you're going to face even more. These things have been proven. I've lived it, but these things have also been proven in studies. So I ain't just blowing smoke. If there's so many black women in HR, how come black men are still facing job discrimination, with the exception of when their resumes show that they're both black and gay? What's the reason for that? All these sisters in HR, I thought they understood your struggles as a black man. What you're going to deal with in the Western world, with the black Western woman, is that either they understand your struggle and don't give a rat's behind and don't even want to believe it, or they don't understand your struggle and they don't give a rat's behind and they don't want to believe it. Either way it goes, understand or not, they don't believe it. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to validate it. When you have trouble finding work, they're going to say it's you. It's never the discrimination. It's never that. It's you. It's always you. And I know because I lived it. And studies proved it. So I simply cannot tell you in good conscience to listen to such people when they say this. In reality, the best thing for you to do is find out which, because I'm assuming that the one who said this to the one that commented to me is a Muslim. So find out, and if he's an old guy, he's an old fool. I want to let you know that. Find out which community he's from, especially if he's from the WD Muhammad community. Them old cats in the WD Muhammad, they were drawn into the NOI because they were sick of racial oppression. That's how they got there. Then after the NOI, they came into the WMD, meaning not weapons of mass destruction. WDM, War of Deen Muhammad community. That's what it is. Find out if he's whatever community he's from, and don't hang out with them. Leave them alone, because they're on that bull. You show up with a white woman and she's Muslim, and they be like, oh, mashallah. No racism in Islam. You show up with another woman of color who's Muslim and treats you well, oh, brother, what you doing? Now, granted, I would question certain backgrounds, but that's because of their people's attitudes towards us. You understand? That's the only reason I would. But they gonna act like, it is brainwashing. So no, bro, just go ahead and do the opposite of what they said, I would say. They say she's got to be African American. Okay, you know what to do? Make sure she's not African American. Straight up. Well, she at least needs to be a Western black woman from the diaspora. Okay, then go back to the continent. Well, she just needs to be a black woman, brother. Get you a non-black woman. Or just don't deal with, better to just not deal with them people at all, bro. Because I've been there before. I've heard they're the same ones who want to make changes to the religion itself, which is a big no-no for any of us. Same ones. These are the same ones that, like I said, their women don't mind one of their friends cheating, committing adultery and fornication. Who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? We don't know what's in their heart. But then, you turn around and want to marry a second wife because, hey, they need husbands, right? Astaghfirullah, brother. You ain't ready for that. You can't even pull that off. No. They want to change the religion to suit what they want. So, no, leave them alone, bro. Because they should understand your struggles as a black man. They just don't fivaguk. And as a matter of fact, they might even rejoice in it. So tell that man that gave you that advice to fuck the shuck up. Not because you hate him per se, but just tell him, man, he don't know what he's talking about, even if he means well. Hope that what I said won't be true one day in the future. But in the meantime, I hope it's a benefit. Black Heart, sign of blackout. Assalamu alaikum and black male power.